Hello and welcome to Goodnight Park scenario number 60 in our quest to play everything in Open RCT2. Today's goal, as this says, is to develop this castle into a larger theme park. We've got free admission, and we already have 145 guests in here. We need to have 1,200 by the end of this scenario, and currently all we've got in the park are these two reverser coasters, and no shops, and only one information kiosk. So I'm going to go right ahead, since we always do this. Set this to the $5 umbrellas. Set the color to random. And let's go ahead and get right on into it. So we're charging for rides, which is why that is free. These are both set to $3 a piece. I might raise the price on those, but I don't want to do that while we have 150 people in here. Never hurts to have stuff like merry-go-rounds. You know, we always like to put those in there. And for all of you haunted house enthusiasts, I imagine we'll probably end up putting one of those in if it gets researched. But for now, I think this is probably going to be a decent enough spot for it. Obviously, make this a nice, simple thing right here. We do have a limited amount of buildable space on this terrain, well, or the lack thereof, terrain in the water here, but we can't go past the gates. And in terms of, on the other sides, not too much further than this, and not too much further than this. So not a crazy huge space to play with, but it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Let's go ahead and put in queue right here. We don't really need the 3-spot queue, but, you know, might as well. Let's get that rolling there. They're not going to want to ride the coasters in the rain as much, but they will buy umbrellas. I'm going to leave the rest of these alone for now. We do have access to a couple of other coasters that I would like to build. Spinning Wild Mouse is a pretty decent design, and this also will, to a certain degree, fit outside. And that may be advantageous to us. I don't necessarily want to hem myself in taking up all of this valuable, relatively flat space, so I might try to stick this in here. Okay, there's actually a couple spots this might make sense. The main issue is going to be getting paths connected. So let's take a look around. Yeah, there's no paths back here. And if I've got, let's see, flip that on the side. Going around the outside of the castle wall is going to make this a lot more expensive to build. Not that that's really a huge issue, but I'm thinking it might just be best to try and stick something like this over here if we can find a spot to build it. It's not always easy to do that. Okay, so let's check this out again. It's actually not a horrible spot. Wait a second, is this? Yeah, this land is not actually properly terraformed. That's kind of funny. At any rate, this is not a horrible spot to stick a coaster, but I do need to be able to get the path in. So that is 2 blocks away. I think it's about the same height. Let's just check the height. That's not what I wanted. I wanted paths. 30 and 25. Okay, so this could actually be a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, right. I am going to just reformat. Oh, come on. I'm going to reformat this. Why can I not? Oh, because I'm in the wrong mode. I do want to change this to the concrete railing one. I think it's just a tiny bit nicer. Less visual pollution. Okay, so this is not necessarily my finest hour in terms of placement for path things, but it'll be alright. And we're going to let that go, get some people in the back of the park. It's probably worth seeing if there's anything under here. There is not. Ah, okay, that's where the path comes in from the outside. That's okay. We do have access to the fried chicken stall, drink stall, and I think it might be a decent idea to put a little bit of that stuff over here. Depending on how adventurous we want to get, I should check and see the clearance on this. Can I push this up? I can, actually. Same thing here. Let's just put that fried chicken stall to work right there. Extend this path to here, and then I don't know that I can get anything on this other side here, but we will let this try at the very least. Oh, all right, cool. Bathroom, which, yes, I'm going to charge them a little bit to use, so it's not continually sucking money. They don't really care. Information kiosk also is not a bad one to go ahead and have out here for what should be pretty obvious reasons. Let that start generating a little bit of cash. I have heard that these coasters can crash, and I really hope that does not happen because that's going to be tremendously annoying to deal with, but all we can do is just move on here. We've got one handyman and one mechanic. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple more of those guys going. And in terms of other rides, we have splash boats, which are great for large capacity stuff. River rafts are pretty much a non-starter, not really that good of a ride, but for thrill rides we basically only have the pirate ship. So, I'm going to have them research pretty much only thrill rides and roller coasters for the time being. We don't need another transport ride. I should have fixed that right off the bat. So we already have the miniature railroad and the suspended monorail, which I don't think I'll be building either of those in this. Regarding roller coasters, we already have that. These can be kind of expensive. These aren't too bad. Wooden coasters are always great, but they do cost a lot of money, and this is a 3-year scenario. Yes, and we have plenty of time, so I'm going to get this going just a little bit quicker here. Guests may start complaining about the path layout on this. I don't think we need to be super worried about it. But if they start complaining, we may have to close off sections of this. Yeah, they're finding their way back here just fine. This is getting a decent amount of riders. Not a ton, but remember the park is still pretty empty comparatively. Okay, chairlift. Okay, chairlift actually isn't a terrible, terrible transit ride. But honestly, we probably don't need it. Now, we have all the space back here, like I was saying. This is the most level part. I mean, it's not really that level, but it's the most level part. Just out of curiosity. Wooden loop, dude. Forgot about that. What would it cost for me to put this in here? 9,800. Actually cheaper in this one specific spot. 9,814. Well, you know, I don't have that right now, but this would not be the worst thing ever. I'm not gonna, you know, cry a whole bunch of tears if I end up having to remove these castle walls in favor of putting other stuff in. But we'll keep that in our back pocket for a little bit. What is this guy carrying that's purple? Oh, you're tired and you're leaving the park. Why is your fried chicken purple? That is not a normal color for fried chicken. Well, anyway, they want to go home, they can do that. Now, they should be researching. I guess I could maximum fund it. Why not? Give me something that's not a chairlift, please and thank you. I'm kind of wondering if I will get money back for building these. Castle wall costs $10 to place. I am going to... Yeah, maybe I don't need to worry about it. Or maybe I can just pick one and see. No money back. Alright, so it's like a shady used car lot. Well, let's just pop that back. I'll pay the $10 so that looks correct for the time being. Mouse cars for Wooden Wild Mouse. That is not what I wanted you to spend my research money on, but I guess I can't really be too upset. How far can I go? I can go up to 20 grand. Okay, well... Seeing how we're not going to get any fun, new, exciting type of coaster for a while, I think I'm just going to have to go ahead and build this thing. And yeah, we'll have to get probably the exit on, yeah, this end. I do like to build those first. Entrance on that side. Maybe it doesn't really matter that much. Well, regardless, Woodship is a pretty decent design. I do feel pretty comfortable charging $4 for that. We could probably raise the price of the other ones, to be perfectly honest with you. But I do need to go ahead and get this hooked up. See how much nicer the concrete pylons are than the other nonsense? Alright, so let's do that. And then coming down from here, kind of have this go, turn the paths on. 25 feet, 25 feet. Is this 45? Okay, no. So that is 35, 30, all the way across. Ooh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's come across here. Ah, yes. My favorite song. Maybe not quite. Can I go down here? I cannot. Alright, so we're playing that game, are we? Let's go ahead and just remove these paths because they aren't going anywhere. And then, since we know 25 feet is going to be about the height we want to work with over here anyways, let's put that in. This is not the best layout objectively, but it will work for the time being. Let's get ourselves some of those things. I'm going to put a couple of Q-line TVs. Q-line is, you know, repetitive, same thing. Americans don't really call things Qs. That's a very, very British English thing. Look at all this barf on the ground. Come on. This guy's set to mow grass? I don't think so, dude. We don't have time to have you mow grass. Alright, these guys are just wandering the castle walls with absolutely nothing else to do. Okay, now we're talking. The launch freefall is a great ride to get a decent amount of stuff going pretty quickly in terms of ridership. I just have to have money to build it, and I did just spend 10 grand building a roller coaster, so we probably will hold off on that for a little bit. Did they research anything else? Because I have this in kind of fast mode. Nope. Just the mouse cars for the Wild Mouse Coaster. What is... Oh, that's the fried chicken thing. I keep asking what in the world that purple stuff is. Well, you know what that says to me is that the people do not have enough garbage cans. So, I'm going to find some slopes here and stick garbage cans on them because that is the only place really those can go and not be in the way of something else. Put that inside so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, just a couple of places here. I think there's already one there. This does go down. Okay, that's fine. Leave that alone. This could probably stand to have a bench right here because I see some barf on the ground. Probably should just, you know, get in the habit of putting those on every single one. Alright, 600 bucks. How much does it cost to make the thing again? 800 starting price. Alright, we'll wait a little bit longer. Let that be what it's got to be. And come back to that in a moment. Are we making more money on this now? 1,000 customers an hour? Okay, that's not bad. Not terrible. Let's take a look at the rating on this. Wow, 8.09. And I'm only charging $3 to ride this? Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. You're going to pay $5 and you're going to like it. As we know, you can pretty reliably, at least for a little while the ride is new, charge about what the excitement rating is. Of course, not forever, but guests are thirsty and can't find anywhere to buy drinks. Well, do I have a deal for you? And that is, of course, the drink stall. So come one, come all. Buy some drinks. Yeah, look at them go. Maybe I'll put in a couple of benches here. Another trash can because I can. You can't really see the benches with the wooden path structure, but they are there. What did I say this to? $4? Yeah, it seems like that's fine. Yeah, these guys are, in fact, getting to work. Roto-Drop's available. But the launch freefall is, in my opinion, still a better design. And, of course, the escape hatch, which we always build. Seems like that's going to be the smart thing to do. This is a good thing to stick in a spot where you really kind of can't build much else. So, what I will do is I will pop that over here. If I can even see. See these paths, man. They're not exactly set up in a tremendously great way. So let's remove those. And then, I guess I will just, yeah, I'm just going to have to set this back a little bit here. Probably the best spot. $2 is fine. Get that turned on. Then I will give this a single queue line segment because it only holds 8 people and it'll fill up fast enough anyway. Alright, that's looking good. Let this run for just a little bit of time on that triple speed. Come back here in just a moment. Yeah, we got about $1,000. Rotor drop costs $720, and that's not a bad ride to have. It does take up a very small amount of space, so something in here is going to be a smart choice. I like these towers. I don't want to get rid of those, but the rest of this, I don't think is really that big of a deal. If I put this here, yeah, that's gonna yeet delete some of these things. So, not the best setup ever. Let's take this out of triple speed so I can hear myself think a little bit better. This right here, give a 2 segment. Have this come down this way and then straight across. That's going to give me a couple spots here to put some other things like, for example, another bathroom. Of course, that's set right like that. Put some fried chicken here. And then a drink stall again. Make sure that connects to the path. And it does. Very good. Put in a couple of benches. And a trash can or 2. This may end up being connected to another path at some point in the near future, but we will get there when we get there. Up to about 500 guests. We do have 3 total years. Don't forget, we only have to be... Well, it's never linear anyway, but we've already passed a linear progression to 1,200 in 3 years. Look at all this garbage. Oh, boy. Alright, I usually don't like assigning handymen to specific areas because I find that ends up causing problems more often than not. But this is very clearly a problem. So I'm just going to get that set in. I suppose I need to include the queue. And yeah, that should be fine. So I will, of course, have to plant this guy down in his new home. But yeah, keep that cleaner for me. Get that rating up. Get some more folks in here. And hopefully we'll be in a little bit of a better situation. Not that we're in a bad spot, but never want to, take too long to do stuff. See, these guys have the right idea. They're sitting down. And what have I missed? Virginia Reel. Sometimes unfairly maligned as a coaster type. I don't really think it's a great design, but, it's pretty cheap, and guests do seem to like it. Wooden Wild Mouse would not be a bad thing. How's the response been? Well, that one's broken down, so that probably tells us. 4,000 an hour profit. This one, of course, broken down is going to change that, but it looks like it's about the same. Alright, I can deal with that. Just need to get a little bit more of that money printer going and go from there. This guy is, okay, I haven't really given him that much time to get this cleaned up, so I will speed this up and check back in a little bit, but man, they are just dropping this garbage absolutely everywhere. It probably doesn't help that there's only a couple of garbage cans. If you are ever bored and want some way to occupy, I forget how long that video is, Marcel Voss has done a very interesting video on the mechanics of garbage cans in this game. Basically anything he ever puts out is worth watching, especially if you enjoy chaotic and maybe ill-advised techniques for speedrunning the game. But usually a pretty good watch. Suspended swing coaster, don't really care too much for that, but it's always good to have options. Okay, Virginia Reel. Okay, so that's $2,000. I guess the $900 is the minimum viable coaster, so we'll abandon that for right now. Okay, that's pretty healthy profit per hour. Up past 500. Yeah, this is very crowded and also probably needs to have a way to get guests out somewhere else. So I do need to get this path attached to something over here. Why don't we... Yeah, see, the walls are cramping my style. Can I turn off the walls? Highlight path issues. Oh, I love OpenRCT, too, for this exact reason, because you got all these fun other things. Yeah, there is some of that stuff there. Can I build in this mode? Please let me build in this mode. I will be so thankful. Now, this probably isn't... No, there's a roller coaster, of course there is. Can I... Okay, roller coaster in the way, of course. Roller coaster in the way. Can I go this way? No. Can I go that way? Survey says yes. Okay, let's, oh, yikes. Oh, I can't, I forgot I can't build with this in the, this other mode here. Man, it is so hard to see what I can actually do here. Oh, building this is a nightmare. What am I supposed to do? Okay, can I go down? No, I cannot. Can I? No, I cannot. All right. Well, I guess I should have just built straight up, straight across. And now these jokers are just going to stand here the whole time. All right, well, you know, I did it to myself. Turn around. Turn around and go back up, or you're going to be walking around here and you're going to be lost and you're going to be crying about it, and I don't want to deal with that. Okay, let's just save ourselves a little bit of misery and abandon that for now. Wait for them to all get bored and go back where they're coming from. And I think I probably can't go underground here, but I may be able to go underneath the path, or underneath the path, the what do you call it? Coaster in the way. Oh, everything I try to do is cursed. It's almost like the coasters are fundamentally bad park design. Well, this may actually let me if I go through here. No. What about here? No. What if I'm wasting so much money doing this? No. Boy, oh boy, do I regret doing... Get out of here. Move on and do something else with your life, I swear. So I just want to connect this to something else, but this is in the way. Just stand there eating your fried chicken without a care in the world. Make better choices. Alright, can I... Aha, okay, path heights, that's 60... 65. Can I get by going 60? I can. Okay. Now, this is an exceedingly ugly path, but it works. And now I can get that banner out of there. This will be connected. It's just going to be a lot easier. Not quite at 600 yet, but the park rating is going up. This area is just so dirty. I'm going to have to put a handyman up here to just keep that as clean as I can. I am going to go ahead and get a couple more. These are both occupied, so I'm going to get one more of those guys. It is kind of random where the handyman decided to go anyway, so seems like that's going to be okay. But we are we're doing all right. We're cash flow positive. I do have $5,000 of headroom on the loan if I decide to do that. But for now, I think we'll just let this continue going on. Water coaster is not really a great ride. It's basically just a wooden coaster with a water feature thing. To my understanding, actually no, the water coaster specifically is a steel one. I do remember that. But there is a water element you can put in a wooden coaster that I don't know if it's in this game or if it's in the sequel, but it all runs on an RCT2 anyway. Yeah, that's a separate thing. Maybe would not be a bad idea to build the double drop, but I need to find a decent spot for it to go. That is one of the... Oh, this looks ridiculous. Where, oh where is my path entrance that will not be cut off? I'm not really in love with this layout, but it may actually work okay. I remember there being some issues with the lines for this being just oppressively long. I don't quite have the cash to build this right now anyway, so I'm going to hold out here for just a moment. Try and let this accumulate a little bit more cash. I say as soon as they take money away to pay the employees. What an annoyance that is, huh? Come on, give me $4,066 without taking any more away, so I can click this and we can move on. Almost there? Almost. And... oh, come on! It's every time, man! Alright, let's try this again. Mercifully, that worked. Alright, you can... why is it only one boat? Stop that. This can hold, I think the most I was able to really do with this and have it be viable was 8. I'm going to leave this at 6. Yeah, because they will mob this. Not during the rain, but they will absolutely... what in the world kind of nonsense is happening with this queue? Good lord. Okay. No, 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 no. We have to fix this. We cannot stand idly by while this chaos permeates our peaceful playthrough here. Okay. Let's, which... that goes there. Yeah, okay. Alright, this... oh, for crying out loud. There we go. I've been playing this game off and on since the 90s, and I still can't get a hang of the, the path laying mechanics. Oh boy, it is what it is. Come one, come all. Board up on these boats and generate me a terrific quantity of cash flow, please and thank you. I do think I'm going to put this no entry sign here. That seems like a wise idea. Put a couple more trash cans because they seem to fill these up extremely quickly. Get this on turbo mode and see what else we can get going here. Yeah, these are filling up decently well. If the boat's not being dispatched until it's full... oh, it's not, actually. It just has a minimum waiting time. Spacing on this seems okay, but I am going to lower this down to see if they will not have to wait quite as long. Let's go to 17. Yeah, that flows just a touch better. Now we've got, yeah, 4,000 an hour, 2,100 guests per hour. What was this that showed up? The side friction roller coaster and the 3D cinema. Man, you're not sending your best. I'll tell you that much. 3D cinema is really only great if it rains all the time because it's an indoor ride and guests like that when it rains. But otherwise, not really that good. And I don't see the side friction roller coaster. Oh, here it is. How could I possibly miss that? But hey, look at that. That's a beautiful sight. All those umbrellas. Each one of those umbrellas is $5 credited to our account. Alright, this is still kind of dirty up here, but I guess it could be worse. Let's put some garbage cans in, because you can almost literally never have too many garbage cans. It's working out okay. Some vomit here, but the park rating is pretty high. Should look pretty good. Yeah, unfortunately not a ton to do, except just wait, get a little bit more cash. Yeah, you know, I guess we could live this on fast speed, because it is a 3-year scenario. And we're not quite halfway through the time limit, but we are technically over the halfway point in the guest count, and this is already about half an hour long. Yeah, so this is actually proven to be pretty good, pretty profitable. We got about 80, 90-ish people on the ride, whatever the capacity ends up being. This is reasonably popular. Of course it's broken down. What are we... Get another mechanic. I'm going to expand this up to 10 handymen. The cost is negligible at this point. But I do think I want to get more coasters in. Wooden Wild Mouse. Water coasters, honestly, kind of gimmicky. But some of these mouse coasters can be pretty good. Crazy Vole is a pretty nice one. And it's not crazy expensive. Let's see. Whoa, did you see what I just saw? Behold, the go-karts. And this one actually has the station in there. Alternative vehicle. How is there an alternative vehicle type for go-karts? It's a go-kart. Or is that the thing where RollerCoaster Tycoon 1 had them without helmets and RollerCoaster Tycoon 2 had them with helmets? I wonder whose mom wrote Chris Sawyer a letter and said, you gotta have helmets on the go-karts. And then put helmets on the go-karts. Man, I'm gonna have to build a custom go-kart track, aren't I? Oh, castle carts. That's thematically appropriate. Is there anywhere I can build this? It is not looking like the answer is yes. All these rolling hills. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I guess what we should probably do at this point is make an effort to connect paths in here. Yeah, I think that's just gonna make sense. Let's connect to... There we go. Turn this on to height marks. We need to go up to 60, and we are at 30 feet. So why don't I go ahead and bring this down to... That's still 35. 30, and then build this out this way. And that connects. All right. So we've got some space in here to put a coaster that has some sort of height availability. It doesn't show me... There we go. Click the duck. It doesn't show me where the park boundary is here. That's unfortunate. But I now have a space in which I could build a roller coaster go-kart design. I just have to be mindful about support limits, and that seems like that is not going to be a great spot for it. Why don't we right here? That's enough space for an exit, but I need the entrance to have another spot, so I unfortunately am going to have to come down to this side. Yeah. Let's do that. We've got 2, 3, 4. We don't need to have a crazy long station platform, but we do need to be able to, actually get these guys up and running somewhere. I can't go... I actually can. Okay. Well, color me surprised. That's... Okay. Footpath in the way. Should have known. Let's just, bring this up one more. Turn around. Up one more, and then we can go down... Oh, I thought I had that. Okay, we'll go here. Then I think I have to go like this. Yeah, it's not going to be a crazy complicated track, but I did, kind of want something that would not be a complete garbage can. That can go there. This can go straight. It has to end down at 30 feet, so why don't we just do one of these? I can go down one little bit. I don't know that I can... Nope, I can't. Okay. Ah! Okay. That is 25. 30 here, and then connect in the back. I can have the entrance... Oh, I actually kind of did myself a disservice here at how I have this laid out. Because that's going to have to be connected. Let's move this to here. Then, of course, the coaster blocks this off. I guess we're fine doing this the other direction. Go-karts are, not so much of a huge pain in the butt that you have to babysit them, but you do need to make sure you have enough queue space for them to get in there. Ah, there it is. Go-karts with helmets. You know, I shouldn't be snarky about it. Helmets are actually extremely important. Please wear helmets when operating power equipment, and especially put them on your kids. But I do think it's funny that this counts as a completely separate vehicle type. Oh, is this on 3-lap race mode? No longer. It is 2-lap race mode. Got $2,000. Still hovering at about 630 guests. I think we're going to have more coasters for that to be a viable thing, but we do have better connectivity here. Took care of that. This is the only way to get into the park currently. Then they have to either come around here or come around here. Well, it's alright. Let these guys do what they gotta do. What have they researched? Or what are they researching? Inverted, that's definitely a real word. Inverted hairpin coaster. Drink water. It's good for you. Yeah, I'm not seeing a ton else that would really make sense to build right now. So let's put this back in a little bit of turbo mode. See what this does to our guest count. If we can get up past about 750 or so without building anything else within the space of a couple weeks, I'll feel like that's working pretty well. Now the inverted hairpin coaster is actually a decent design. It's like a kind of a version of a Wild Mouse, but I don't think we don't have a lot of good options off the shelf for that. What's our guest throughput? 408 per hour. That's objectively not that good, but it seems like it's going okay. But it's making a decent profit-ish. Okay, what was this? That's broken down. All right. What we really need is like a nice steel looping coaster. I forget. RollerCoaster Tycoon 1 called it the steel coaster, 2 calls it the looping coaster, and that's this is. Oh, what are the odds that? Okay, no, there we go. You already know what time it is. It is time to whoop-de-doo. Can I get this to go that Daru? Not really. The left whoop-de-doo. Why don't we instead try to build the right whoop-de-doo? That is unfortunately not going to really fit very nicely here. That seems to be about the same height, which is not great because I'd not be able to connect it. So why don't we see if I can... Oh, I can go all the way out here. Okay, well, let's make that happen. That can go there, and then we'll pop in whoop-de-doo left. Right next door. Make sure these are checked, and they are. I do like this color scheme with the, I forget what actual colors these are, but that's fine. Let's make these, say, $3 each. We have not connected paths yet, so it's going to scream and cry and throw up at me when I, open it without the paths being connected, but, it'll be fine. Let's get that hooked up there. Yep, just can't get to the entrance. Calm down. Keep your pants on. Let's get this hooked up here. And there we go. Now we got whoop-de-doo and whoop-de-doo. And as long as these are connected, which they are, we're good. So they'll ride these. They'll make a decent amount of cash. Drive up the guest cap. Put in a couple of trash cans as well. Keep this going. Check on the throughput here. Yeah, okay, it's subjectively not very good. So I wonder if the 2 laps can be reduced to 1 without it being crazy. It's already like a 4.32. Let's take it down to 1. Because at the end of the day, I just need to get guests through this thing. Why did that guy leave? Was that the one who won the race? Okay. There we go. Because we always know that the winner of the race gets to the extra victory lap. And sometimes if you do a 1-lap race, that ends up not really being too much faster than having a 2-lap race. But if you can still get the... Did that guy get off of the go-kart carrying his fried chicken? Okay, story time. When I was in high school, I was in marching band, as many of you know. There was a tuba player in my band. I won't tell you his name, but he walked around rehearsal. We were setting drill. We had our charts that told us where to stand on the field to make the images and stuff for the show. But we're setting drill, and he pulls out this like gallon Ziploc bag full of fried chicken from his pocket in his pants. Like, what an iconic human being. Incredible, incredible person. Just tremendous energy. But every time I see somebody in this game walking around with their fried chicken, I'm reminded of setting the drill to that marching band show. Out in the parking lot in July in the heat. Hey, it's probably about the same time of year right now. But, man, the energy to carry a bag of fried chicken in your pocket outside while we're setting drill, that's like the most tuba player thing I think I've ever heard. But I digress. If you know, you know. If you don't, then it's probably not possible to explain it. But it seems like the original thing I was going to tell you guys about is that the excitement rating hasn't gone down that much. And the customer throughput per hour should go up considerably. Yeah, remember, it was about 370, 375. I'm not expecting it to go crazy higher, but I'm already seeing over 500. We'll see what it hovers at for a while. These are doing... Yeah, they're doing pretty good numbers for customers. Wow! Okay. Over $10,000 an hour. Well, why is the right one doing so much better? Well, I think we can safely leave that alone for a little bit. Have they researched anything else of consequence? Mine Train Coaster is okay. Park rating is very high. Do we have barf everywhere? Kind of. I don't want to just spam handymen for no reason, but I am going to have them come up here and just take care of that. Okay, this is broken down. Do we have a mechanic heading or fixing wood chip? Okay. That's fine. So this is still working. What's our throughput on this? 1,200 an hour, making decent money. Not bad. Okay, 500 per hour is a lot better than 350, 370, whatever it was. I do kind of feel like $4 may be a bit too high to incite guests to ride this, so I'm going to lower it just a tiny bit. Because remember, the excitement rating is about the cap that you can reasonably charge when a ride's new. I'll do 350. We'll make it a little easier here. We got 8 people in line, which the capacity is 7, so that's fine. As long as the line has enough people in it when the race ends to fill the next thing, then that's all that really matters for go-karts. You don't want to keep guests in here too long. That's broken down. How often does this break down? Oh, that's this tile. Safety... Oh, we need to change those inspections to every 10 minutes. Absolutely. I remember in the original RollerCoaster Tycoon, having the inspections too far apart would mean your ride would absolutely crash. I remember that happening in the Diamond Heights scenario a lot. Yeah, Mine Train Coaster, we already know about that. It's a little expensive to be building right now. We're at August year 2. We're almost at 800, which would be, in terms of linear progression, about right on track. I do want to see if I can get a little bit more money saved up so we can build some better coasters before this is all said and done. Just gotta let this run for a little bit. Because, you know, I generally don't like to do the advertising if I can help it. We may end up having to. Ooh, vertical drop coaster. That's a great one to have. Especially for a map like this with a lot of height variation. I think one would go really nicely right about here. But they aren't always cheap to build. There's not a ton of great off-the-shelf rides. That's 22 grand. 46,000. I don't think so. That is a minimal effort coaster. Maybe. I mean, so this is a pretty decently well-rounded one, and it costs about 8 grand. You know, this is actually not a terrible spot for this to go. Let's see if we can find somewhere to build it that's not going to, you know, bankrupt me here. 10-9, 10-6 here. As long as I can get the entrance and exit paths in, I think this may be a winner. Let's see if there's any cheaper I can go. Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and build this. Now, I don't think I'm gonna want to bother trying to come in on this side for the entrance, but if I can get this to not interfere with this path here, which I may have to modify this, but I just want to check. Okay. Never mind. Okay, that means we have to move the entrance to be... This might... Yeah, you know, that's probably too close, but let's check in... Oh, no? Okay, I will go ahead and take care of that. Let's make sure we get this popped in correctly. This should be enough of a queue. I don't think we have to be that worried about that being an issue. Alright, the only kind of thing that I did here is I didn't really give this a fighting chance in terms of how I was going to organize all the paths. But I've certainly done worse. Let's elevate this to the $4 charge. Of course, put in a set of benches up top and a trash can or two there. We've got food and stuff here. This would not be a horrible place to put more of that if I don't have another ride to put there. Got the Steel Wild Mouse. That's a decent coaster. I really don't want to build one of those things, but maybe a swinging ship would be a decent space filler here. Let's try that. Is that the same height? I may run into problems with path height, so maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I don't want to tempt the game here. Now, the problem is... Okay, so that is... Oh, this will work. That'll work fine. I just have to have this set up where it can't be a problem. Alright, so that's working. This holds, what, 16 guests? So technically, you could... I don't know that it really is necessary, but you could put 3 or 4 queue pieces, but I think 2 will be just fine. Right, so that's going to work. That fills up decent space, and it's close enough, I think, to get the bonus on that. Inverted coaster coming 4th of March. I'm going to cautiously tick the gentle ride box, see if we can get anything else interesting out of that. Monorail cycles, kind of pointless. The maze can be a decent one, but you never want to do it to any degree of like crazy size because you can only ever have a maximum of 16 guests on it. And it usually doesn't end up working out money-wise to make sense. Now, building over here is not necessarily a bad idea, but it also... We've got all this space. This would be a decent spot for a roller coaster. This fungicide is probably not a terrible... Oh. Never mind. Too high for supports. What a pity. Wooden Wild Mouse may end up being the same kind of a thing. I didn't build this already, did I? No. Okay, so there is a spot where this will fit, and this actually isn't a horrible thing to put right here. I just don't have the almost $5,000 to build it. And it is March of Year 3. I should avoid using the super crazy fast one now until I'm sure that I'm going to win the scenario. Sometimes it does take a while to get these guests in here. Inverted roller coaster. Which one is that? Okay, that's that one. And then by proxy, we also have compact inverted, or did they fix that? Oh, it looks like that is no longer a thing. Or maybe it's if you research compact inverted first, and it also gives you this, but not the other way around. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in not this scenario, because obviously you can't research that twice. Yeah, you know, we're at about 900 guests, and we have March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October to do that. I think we're going to be fine. But I do want to put in a couple more coasters. I'll just go ahead and do it now with the loan. If we're doing well enough to consider winning the scenario, then it's not going to matter that I took out the max loan anyway. You know, objectively not a great strategy to employ in your, you know, real life financial strategy, but it's a game, so let's get this just very simply hooked up here. This may end up being actually too much of a queue anyway, but I don't think it's gonna... That's not high enough? Okay. Well, why don't we do something about that? Oh, this is such a hideous setup. What do you mean the footpath's in the way? Who in the world made that choice, huh? See, I feel like that should be allowed to work, but what do I know? Okay, well, it is a little circuitous of a path there. That's not the end of the world. Can I, or should I, put in a thing over here? I mean, balloon stall, maybe? Not a horrible thing to stick in here. I will do that, and I don't want them to be free, per se, but maybe we'll do that at the end. I don't know. I usually like to see all the random balloon spam when these things are all said and done, and I've already won the scenario. What did I set this to? $3? Yeah, that's fine. Right, we'll leave that alone. These are doing... Yeah, they're doing okay numbers, but there's nobody on this. What are people saying about it? It's too intense. It's a really good value. Can't afford it. You know, I didn't bother checking the... Oh, that's broken down again. I didn't bother checking how much these guys come in with. Okay, you came in with $80. You're fine. 70 is fine. I don't want it to be like 40 or 50, because that just ends up being a huge pain because they never have enough money to actually do anything. So that can be okay. What are we researching? Gentle ride. Make of the haunted house or the crazy house or whatever so we can get that put in. That would be great. Come back over here. Whoop-de-doos aren't necessarily super popular, which I guess is to be expected, but it's alright. Is this still 500-ish an hour? I guess that's fine. Alright. I'm not going to turbo speed this, but I am going to get this going just a little bit quicker. It's creeping slowly toward 1,000 guests, and we are still in March, so, you know, we got plenty of time. I do want to see what this gentle ride is when that comes up. Should be probably pretty soon. It's usually toward the end of the month when you're on maximum schedule. Circus? Really? Alright, well that's pointless. They don't care about the circus unless it's raining, then they'll go in there, but that's not really going to add to our guest cap or anything. I don't think we need to be that worried about shops and stalls. I would love to have another compact coaster I could build that wouldn't be really incredibly stupid. At the same time, it's $500, so probably should build one at some point. We've built one each of everything except the 3D cinema, because nobody cares about the 3D cinema. Built the wooden wild mouse. We've got a Verser coaster. We got two of those. I did not build a Virginia reel. I don't think that's going to be that popular of a coaster. We do have a classic wooden. We've got wooden wild mouse. I did not build the steel wild mouse because that was too high for the sports. We do have spinning. I don't have a... Okay, the RollerCoaster Tycoon one called this the Junior Coaster, Classic Mini, whatever. This is going to be too expensive for us to realistically build. I don't like either of these. This one's okay, but it's also kind of expensive. Yeah, there's a couple that are smaller. They're just not, you know, tremendously great designs. That being said, I will check and see. This is actually decently well suited for this spot that we've got over here. And interweaving it between coasters is usually a smart idea, but I'd have to have the paths come around this side because of the positioning of the track. So that may not be a great location for it. What about over here, because I'd like to avoid having the paths just be ludicrously long for all of these things. If I were to get this, yes, it's still like really high. Just super stupendously high supports. Not going to fit. Oh, wait, did I see that? Oh, no. Okay, we're not doing that. But what I will do is, I believe this is not the worst place to put this. Which one of these is cheaper? 14. 8,300 bucks. I will humor that. Let's get this locked and loaded here. Okay, so that's going to go there and there and there and there, and then the fun part begins, which is going to be me figuring out how in the world to get these paths to hook up. It's like trying to herd cats. Like, forget it. You're not going to be able to do it. See-through rides. Okay, that helps it a little tiny bit. Is that... of course, the coaster that I just hid is in the way. Height marks go. 35 feet. Oh, no. No, see, that's my... Well, I shouldn't say it's my worst nightmare, because that's, you know, objectively not even remotely appropriate there. But, I just really want this to actually be connected to something. Can I go down? There we go. Is that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Absolutely not. And if it is, well, please have better experiences in your life for your sake and mine. But that seems to be doing okay. Gives us another coaster. We are over 1,000 guests, which is about 150. Yeah, it's 150 from the goal. Yeah, we got a lot of guests coming through this back corridor. The rest of this, we didn't really build much in here. Part of the problem with doing that is how temperamental some of these are. Oh, this said something about alternative vehicle design, so I guess I should check and see, make sure nobody's going to die in this thing. As long as it doesn't valley itself, we'll be alright. Okay, that's totally fine. Yeah, I was thinking about putting one of the other little coasters in here, but it's not going to fit. Steel Wild Mouse we already talked about. Virginia Reel could be a candidate to fit in a spot like this, but yeah, it's just not consistent. Let's flip-flop this, because I can put this here, but it's not going to be... You know, this hides almost everything we have going on here, but it's kind of cheap. And it's ugly. That's okay. What in the world is happening with these queues? It's like this, it's like the game really doesn't want to let me do this. Alright. Well, we'll rebuild it. We have the technology. That will go there. We'll get that replaced to our footpath in the way. What do you mean I can't build the footpath because the footpath's in the way? That's not how this works. Is this actually... Excuse me, is this actually higher? That's 35 feet, and that is... Don't tell me this is like 20 feet here. Oh, it's 25. Oh, you know what? That is actually good, because we can just cut right through the wall. All right, Texas Tubs. Come on down. Okay, we got people on that. We got people on that. We got people on pretty much all of these things. Yeah. It works. Not the most beautiful park I've ever made, but honestly, when have I ever made a park that really looks any amount of good by any stretch of the imagination? We have this night guy who's just walking around doing night activities. Oh, there you go. You got King Kong in the night. No, we'll just keep adding a couple more nights. Why not? Or you can have the Kung Fu Panda guy. All right, there you go. That works. DreamWorks, please do not sue me. Honestly, everything's looking okay. As long as we get up to our 1,200 guests, we'll be in decent shape. So I see... Yeah, don't stall at 1,100. Don't do that to me. Space rings? Okay, no. No, your research privileges are officially revoked. If you're going to give me space rings, get out of here. So, no haunted house, no crazy house. Sorry to those of you who do like those, but they didn't want to give it to me, so guess what? We don't have it. Alright, we are looking like we are probably going to get to 1,200 without doing any sort of a marketing campaign. Just so long as we don't have anything else horrible happen. Tell you what we'll do. Let's pay back the loan. And, okay, there's 1,200. I'm just going to, you know, time-lapse this unless something weird happens, in which case you're going to see it anyway. But I appreciate you guys watching all these RollerCoaster Tycoon videos. I know I haven't done one in a long time, but we're a little busy with the beavers. But I am really, really trying to get through the rest of these scenarios. Not, like, rush through the rest of them, but I do want to get to them. It's a fun game. And folks like the Beard Boosters who support the channel make it possible for me to even make these videos and not have to worry quite so much about YouTube saying, oh, well, that's not specific, extremely narrow subset of videos that you've been making forever, and we're not going to promote it, because, you know, the people that want to watch these videos are going to want to watch them. And if the folks like the Beard Boosters support the channel, then that makes it that much easier for me to say, you know what? Let's do something that's fun, that we want to do, and not because that's what the algorithm decides that we want to do. So, next thing you're going to see is when we get this victory condition screen, and that'll be all she wrote. All right, I lied. I'm not comfortable enough with this being so close to 1,200 and frequently dipping below it to completely say goodbye to this this video quite yet. So, what I will do is just pop on a simple, say, 6-week advertising campaign, burn some of this extra cash, get some folks through the door, and then that truly will be the end of this one. Well, this is the playthrough that just keeps on giving, because guess what? We just had 6 people die in a crash on Reverser Rollercoaster 1. Oh boy, and it's October 17th, and the scenario ends on the 31st, and we are still barely over 1,200 guests. All right. Oh, man. All right. The game is not being super kind to me on my first playthrough back. Well, you know, you can't really come back from this, especially when people die. The park rating takes a severe hit. You can... Oh, game's paused, of course. You can delete a piece and rebuild it, and then reopen it. But they're not going to ride it. They're going to say, I'm not going to go on that because somebody died, which, you know, that's a valid complaint. So let's just hope that this doesn't cause me to lose here, because I still have not been defeated by the game for any one of these. I did turn on the rest of the advertising campaigns, which is a good thing in hindsight, because folks aren't going to want to come in here very, very much now that we've had so many people who just, you know, go to the great amusement park in the sky after riding one of ours here on Earth. Oh boy, that's yikes. Hopefully nothing else horrifically terrible happens. But man, I've said like 3 different times now that this is going to be the end of this scenario, and so far that hasn't been the case. Well, at any rate, we're over 1,200. Oh, hold on, let me check the... Okay, park rating is 600. What's the park rating now? Okay, good. Good, it's above 600. Oh, that would be a bad way to lose this. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. I can't even be upset at this point. I fought hard, the game fought hard. Well, I didn't fight that hard, honestly. This is not super difficult. But it looks like we are going to come out of this by the skin of our teeth, and that is, in fact, all she wrote. So, despite 6 deaths... oh, jeez. Let's put our name on the list and say goodbye. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun. Do not get on Reverser Rollercoaster 1, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.